Let me bang.
I do let you bang. Hey,
let me bang you, Kayla, man.
I let you bang. I let you bang.
Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. Me, Adam Hunter. I'm here with two legends in their own right. I mean, two of the best heavyweights I ever met. We got Don Frye and Sean McCorkle. How's it going, guys? Don just left. Okay.
So it's going great for me.
What's new with you?
No, we just got back from vacation, man. We were down there in Florida. I got sick down there, which I was kind of hoping it was COVID, so then I could say it wasn't like it was nothing because I'm not vaccinated, but I don't think it's that, so I don't know.
You're hoping for COVID?
Yeah, I want to get it so I can tell everybody it's not bad at all, even if it is. Like, even if it's terrible, I'm going to still act like I'm so glad I didn't get vaccinated.
Well, don't say that, because now if it's terrible, no one's going to believe you. You just basically played your card.
Well, I haven't lied about having it yet. But
okay. Now, I was in Florida, too. Isn't it crazy? Like, Florida, like, I did a joke how I got in trouble for wearing a mask. Like, people were like, take off your mask. I mean, it's legit. People are just like
sane?
But even like in Ubers, where like you go on Uber, every Uber I got to the comedy club, the Uber driver would be like, take off your mask, you're fine. Like he was like, I'm like, all right, but yeah, it's a whole crazy world, man. It's a crazy world. I had a bunch of shows in Naples, and it was wild because I've talked about this before, but my mother, I haven't seen her since I was 3. I have no recollection of her really, except for the time she like basically beat me up at a restaurant and then also tried to kidnap me and my sister. She pulled up and was like, get in the car. My dad came outside. He said, get in the house. The cops came, and that was it. So I had a babysitter when I was younger that reached out to me on like Facebook. That was like, I used to babysit you, and your mom was really nice, and I loved your family, but she had some mental problems, and she kind of stayed in my life. But this babysitter sent me some pictures and stuff. She came to my show, and I didn't know it because I'm like, I'm fucking with the crowd, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm your babysitter. And then I told the crowd, I'm like, no, this really was a babysitter. She's like, yeah, you had the cutest little ass. I used to kiss it, and which was like awkward, but people were like laughing. But yeah, that was.
Well, how old were you? Like 13 or 2 months old? I guess that's what we need to know. I
was like 2 years old.
Okay. It's a little odd to be. I don't know. I guess it's not that odd because Brendan Schaub kisses Joe Rogan's ass, and Rogan's 55. So
right. So, and we are at number 1 for the show so far. But yeah, there was a time like, so my wife, she never knew her father. Like her father left before she was born, and she met him once. He lives in Canada, and I guess she like reconnected with her half brother, and he's really, really nice kid. Jeremy, really, really nice kid. So anyway, I was in Canada, and my wife's like, I think my dad wants to come to your show. And I was like, all right. And I just forgot, So like 3 days later, I'm on stage, and I'm messing with the crowd. And I'm like, sir, what do you do? And he's like, I'm your wife's father. And everyone started laughing and like applauding. And I'm like, no, don't clap for him. This guy's he's like a deadbeat dad. Like,
oh, shit.
I'm like, he didn't even get us a wedding gift. Like, he never even reached out to her. And then people are like thinking that I'm kidding, which I'm not.
Right.
And then I got off stage, and him and his sister handed me like a check for our wedding. But yeah, that was also Don.
Well, I'll tell your wife I'm glad she has a dad who's alive that can come to your comedy show.
Right. Thank you. Well, yeah. Well, but he doesn't. So, Don, how are you doing, man?
Good. How much was the check for?
Oh, you're my wife's father. Oh, it was like 1,000 Canadian. So it was like what, $600 American.
Well, that ain't bad. I mean, for 20 years, 30 years. How old was she when y'all got married?
27. She was 27.
Well, hey, so $600 for 27 years. Hey, that's a pretty good deal for him.
Yeah, very good deal for him. Very good deal for him.
You know, man, I went down to Florida. You know, you guys were making fun of me 2 weeks ago because I was so dark already, you know, like in Indiana, like how to get that tan. And the Florida sun's so mean, man. It was weird. I was like, by the third day I was down there, I had lost all my white privilege. Like, it was weird. Like, just checks quit coming in the mail for me. Everything quit being real easy. I quit getting, like, real, like, amazing job offers with no experience. All that white privilege disappeared as soon as I got this dark. It's weird.
Wow, man. That happens. It happens to a lot of people. By the way, so, dude, this girl that I never met this girl. I, like, know this guy in Vegas who he, like, shoots porn, but he shoots, like, porn where girls wrestle each other and then like the winner fucks the loser, or like some weird like the kind of porn where like they beat up a guy and like torture him, like just some really bizarre stuff. Anyway, so he came to my
show. What did you do? Were you being tortured?
yeah, they listen to Brendan Schaub's comedy. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I saw Schaub in one of those porn movies one time. Turns out it was one of his fights. He was getting beat up and tortured and so.
Right. I had to throw that for you.
Right, woman.
So this girl hit me up after, and she's like, hey, you know, Glenn, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm a stripper in Vegas, and this and that. So I'm like, oh, cool, blah, blah, blah. So she, like, the other day, she sent me tit pictures, right? Just hers is fucking topless. So I'm like, my wife, like, sometimes I'll be going through my Instagram, and she'll look over. So I'm like, hey, like, I'm married. Please don't send me this shit, you know? And I've never felt, like, gayer in my life. Like, there was nothing, but I wanted to like reach out to my wife and say, hey, Bree, look what I'm doing. But she's not going to be impressed at all and probably think it'll be like, I like planned this. Like there's no way of looking good.
Where are the other 200?
What was that?
Where are the other 200 photos?
yeah, right. Sean, did you ever have that? Like, I know you were a big star in the UFC. You ever have you had a girlfriend? You ever have a girl hit you up with like tit pictures?
Hey, man, it was always at the absolute worst time too. Like, you know what I mean? Like it'd be like you'd be sitting in a car, all of a sudden come in like, hey, what have you been up to? And then it would just have like the name Chicago or something. You know what I mean? Like that or whatever. That's like the band of Chicago is texting me. But a lot of times you didn't know who it. Like I didn't know who it was, so I didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, so you put him on. Like, no, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's I did have one the other day. Somebody texted me. You know, I don't know if you got an iPhone, but iPhones will tell you it's maybe someone.
Yeah.
Like, it's really weird. It's like this person called, and the one called me yesterday and said it might be James Bond, and I didn't know if I should answer it or not. I was sitting there thinking, man, he could be in trouble. But he literally said maybe James Bond, and then turns out it was just some Indian guy trying to sell me Viagra.
Oh God!
So I saved his number, and we're going to talk later, I guess.
But what did you? But you were always a faithful guy, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I don't even text other girls when I have a girlfriend. I don't text. Not even no one. Even if they're not an ex, I don't text any female that isn't related to me if I have a girlfriend. So.
Did you ever reply to them?
Right.
If I ever replied, it would normally be just to say, hey, I've got a girlfriend. I can't text you. Sorry, but that just is a challenge for them to try to cause problems. Then. So I had a girl tell me one time it's just best if you ignore a girl that you don't want to talk to because that's the ultimate slap in the face for a woman. For men, they're just like, hey, maybe she just didn't see it, or maybe she's in the bathroom. I'll try again. Maybe I'll send a picture of my dick and she'll like that. Like that's how guys always try to do. But yeah, no, like I guess if you just ignore them, they get so offended that they'll never speak to you again. So
we're talking to a guy right now who is one of these guys. He's fighting for if he wins 2 fights, he becomes a millionaire. He might probably already a millionaire, this guy. He's got so many businesses, and I see him in Dubai in like a chic costume and this, that, or outfit, not costume. But this dude is fighting 2 fights. He's got to win 2 fights, and he wins $1 million. He's on a streak right now, a 4-fight winning streak, 5-fight winning streak. He's a whole different. He's on a mission. He told us he was going to beat Lance Palmer, and I believed him. But I didn't believe him the way he fought. Like, I mean, Bubba Jenkins is on a different level right now. Bubba, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, Adam. What a fucking introduction. Awesome fucking 7-minute long introduction. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Fucking coming off a high rise right now. I'm down in Miami. Feeling good. Y'all know y'all see me with the motherfucking Mr. Yellow. Can't stop the rain. But I'm out here about to get this workout in. 2 days till weigh-ins. I ain't gonna tell nobody my weight, as you know. So, we out here grinding, baby. The plastics is necessary. The smile is wide. The hair is good. Everything that's bad, man, is a bad thing. It's all good. We buy my things,
So a lot of people watching this who don't know about wrestling or losing weight, Bubba is wearing a rubber suit, which is what you wear when you want to lose a lot of weight. A lot of times you wear the pants too. You don't have the rubber suit.
I think I have sex with a fat girl.
Or you want to have sex with a fat girl.
Or you want to have sex with a fat girl. Sometimes it gets a little wet and slippery.
Big sweaty one.
Bubba, I was a little concerned about you after your first win. It seemed like you were at the club. You were live streaming at the clubs. You were rapping. You were living the high life. You were making it rain.
Yep.
I'm like, please don't celebrate too early. You still have 3 more fights. Your last fight, you fought Bobby Moffitt, very, very tough guy, very underrated guy. You won the first 2 rounds easy. Third, you got a little tired.
Yep. As much as partying and like fun that I was having that a lot of people got to watch, I obviously have children. So my biggest thing is having an inheritance for my children. That's what labels me a good man. I'll die as a good man because my children will have more than I have started with. They'll have more than, I'll have broken the generational curse for my children and for my family. I'll be my family's first multi-millionaire. And as much as I, have fun and enjoy the spoils of my labor,
my folks stick around giving kids money too, huh?
Yeah, my focus is getting my children paid. I mean, everybody wants to give me sponsorships and endorsements, but my children don't eat clothes unless they're going to be their size, and we don't eat products. We need greens, funds, blue checks, blue cheese, Skrilla, mozzarella, cheese. So when it comes to me going out here and partying and networking, it's really me just being the businessman that I am. Yeah, I have a lot of fun doing it. I have fun fighting. Fighting is a scary thing, but I have fun. I'm smiling. I'm having a good time. Yeah, I have fun partying too. Partying shouldn't be as fun as it is for me, but I make it such a great thing because I'm getting some money. I'm getting some business. I love to be the national champ partier and the national champ wrestler that I was in college. So they might change for me, baby. Same shit, different toilet.
That makes sense.
You know what's awesome is Bubba's taken a completely different path than me. He decided to become a billionaire or a millionaire after he got divorced. I became a millionaire before I got divorced. Turns out it doesn't last nearly as long. So.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And honestly,
it ain't my
fault. I'm not as smart. Like literally, I kind of lucked into that situation, and I'm gonna just say that the Lord has guided me in this situation. But you're right. Getting the money after she's gone is definitely cheaper.
Yeah.
Is it also motivating you though a little bit? Like you're like
100%. I told you I was gonna do this, bitch. I was right. The fuck. Yeah. Fucking right. It's motivating. It's also validation.
Now you're fighting Chris Wade. Chris Wade was a New York State champ wrestler. He's a guy that wrestles for Oneonta. I think he wrestled D1 or D2. He never kind of made it as far as wrestling as he could have because he also partied too much. Very dangerous fighter, ex-UFC fighter. I think he went 5-2 in the UFC. I don't know why they cut him. And he's got some pop. What's this fight gonna? He's got some what? Some pop.
Who's got some pop?
Chris Wade.
Chris Wade ain't got no fucking pop, even if he opened up a soda can. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I ain't seen no fucking pop, sizzle, or snap from his ass. He got kicks. He got some kicks. I ain't seen him hit nobody with some pop. Fuck you talking about?
So you're not impressed by Chris Wade at all?
I am not impressed with his performance.
Okay, all right.
Chris Wade is a tough competitor. He's a tough guy from New York. I want to say he's from one of the fucking islands, Staten or
Long Island,
Long or something. Yeah, he's from one of those spots. Right. Who gives a fuck? It ain't where you at. It ain't where you from. It's where you at. And right now he gonna have to stand in front of me And I've heard a lot of his interviews, man. I don't really speak much about Chris Wade. You know, people bring him up because I got to fight him, but I don't really even speak much about him. Even when I speak about him, I only speak about him speaking about me. My man has brought my name up way too many times for me to even be to be okay with him saying it the way he says it. You know, he's speaking of it in a reverence, but also speaking of it in a like, well, he's more of a Damian Maia kind of grab and hold kind of guy. And I don't appreciate that at all. You know, I don't appreciate him thinking that I portray myself to be this Conor McGregor. These are all words that he's used, you know, in interviews when I'm trying to gain an understanding of his personality. I'm trying to gain an understanding of his demeanor. And one thing that I've understood is, one, he's scary. He ain't built like I'm built. He ain't a warrior. He's a fighter. I give him that. He's a fighter, but he ain't no warrior. He ain't built like I'm built. His quit button is too close to the top. And even though he's never been finished, I'm going to be the first because nobody's actually ever really ran up on him and got his, like, understanding of him. I understand Chris Wade. I understand Chris Wade.
Don Frye, anything you want to say? Don?
Sounds great, man. I've been going to put some money on you there, Jenkins.
Now,
Do it.
I want to know, so you're down to the final four, correct? Final four fighters. There's 2 fights left to $1 million.
10 of us with 10 alternates. So it's about 20 of us. Now we're down to the final 4.
So do you is it just $1 million for the winner and everybody else just gets like 5,000, or is it in steps to get the $1 million? Like if you
steps to get the $1 million, depending on, I mean, shit. 3 of the 4 guys in the finals are all have the same agent. Me, Chris Wade, and the Russian boy all have Ali Abdelaziz as our agent. So we're probably all getting paid pretty handsomely. Me more handsomely than them, because I am more handsome than them and a better fighter. But that's neither here nor there. What are we negotiate for coming up to the lead up to this fight? So you'll get, you know, some people got 50,000 a show and 50,000 to win, and then you advance. Maybe you got 100,000 a show and 100,000 to win, and then you advance, and then maybe you got 250,000 a show and 250,000 to win, and then you advance, and maybe you get 500 in the finals to win and 500 to, you know. I ain't saying that that's the numbers.
right.
I'm just saying, you know, if I was asking for a friend, you know, that's kind of how it works.
Okay, so good. You're getting paid either way, man. That's what
Getting paid either way, yeah.
Those tournaments, man, always stunk when 15 guys walk away with 10 grand and then somebody gets $1 million. It always, like Chris Lytle lost the Ultimate Fighter finale to Matt Serra on the comeback season, and he got $10,000, and Serra walked away with $250, I think. So I don't think that's a good formula for good fights, because guys will just try to eke out wins then if one guy's getting paid 50 times what the other guy is, you know? So
absolutely. And I think the format of how we're fighting has made it a little better, because what we show up to get paid, what I show up to get paid is handsome enough to where I can risk it for this win or lose or draw. Of course, now we're in the millions and we're real money. So, you know, ain't no risking it this time. But, like, you know, other organizations don't pay you enough to show up and risk the Rock'em Sock'em robot sometimes fighting is. You know what I mean? So if I'm a wrestler and I go in there and I take the guy down and I don't want to stand up and risk him possibly knocking me out or risk him possibly looking somewhat good for the judges, if I'm humping this good dude when everybody walks in and everybody sees me humping the shit out of this guy and beating the shit out of this guy for the next 15 minutes, then nobody's going to question who won or how risky it was, because I got to get the other half of that check. Right. But when you pay me, you know, nice or handsome enough, or you give me a show fee, like some organizations have it where you have to show up and you have to win. Why don't we just give me the middle number, and I don't even have to get a bonus for the win. I just come to fight and put on a show for the fight itself.
I've always said that if they had guaranteed contracts, like you get 6 fights, 5 fights, no matter what, things would be so much different. Because I know when I fought
the risk factor, the way people are like, I don't want to get it. I want to get it. I don't want to get it. The risk of, if I lose this, I make half of what I was going to make. That shit is a whole different.
And you're going to get cut most likely if you lose in a lot of cases. So it's kind of like, I know on my UFC debut, if I didn't win, I was going to be down $5 grand. I will have paid $5,000 to fight in the UFC. That's where I was at. But so like medical testing, training, all that, I've been out $5 grand if I didn't win. You know, so it's like it's ridiculous, man.
And it's not that, and we're not that far removed from situations still being that way.
Yeah.
Well, I know that,
and it's one of the most lucrative sports in the game. This is one of the who doesn't watch fighting? Who doesn't watch? What country does not have a representation of a fighter in their bloodline? What country doesn't call themselves the fighting something? Fight in every culture, DNA, every strand of the world. So for us to be in a sport like soccer and being paid like suckers is fucking shit.
Yeah, I was trying to get anything worse than soccer.
I know that chip on your shoulder, Bubba, is a very dangerous man. Bubba's a dangerous man, whatever. But like your fight against Lance Palmer, you were doing kicks, spinning wheel kicks. I mean, things that like I've never seen you do before. This was, I mean, it was a whole. And I think a lot of it is Dewey Cooper, and you just have a really good synergy. I think you found the guy, your guy. Are we going to see more of that?
Absolutely. I'm bringing the kitchen sink, man. I'm flying knee. If he throw, we might throw flying knee at the same exact time because I know he likes to run across the cage and get antsy and get with it, get busy. So, you know, we might be clashing in the middle of the cage at the same time. But, yeah, I'm going to be throwing kicks, head kicks, spinning kicks. I'm going to be checking kicks, throwing them right back like I'm from fucking Thailand or some shit. Only because I know that he kicks a lot and I know that he's scary. He's a like, oh, my gosh, get away from me, kick. Oh, my gosh, oh, kicky. You know, he's like a twitchy, kicky motherfucker. So I'm gonna get him all twitchy up. I'm going to get him all flinched out. You know, jump at him a couple times, let him flinch, check the kick, and I'm gonna answer back, man. We fighting. Well, he fighting. I'm warring.
Now, how come we've never seen?
He's trying to bring a pace.
Now, in college,
he's trying to bring pain.
In college, you made this one move called the super duck famous. It was the greatest duck under in the history of duck unders. But you've never done it in the octagon or the cage or whatever. Are you ever going to do the super duck in a fight?
Man, if it presents itself, I have to have someone like yourself to remind me of like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because when I'm in there, I'm in a certain zone, and if someone was like, the duck is there, then I might jab, hit him with a combination, and then go to it. But I'd have to have like that it has to be in the back of my head. Like I literally do what I'm thinking of. Like when I'm doing a spinning back kick or I'll do a flying knee, like, yes, of course, I'm going to read my opponent. But more times than not, man, if I think it, if I see it, my instincts are telling me to go. I don't pull back on my instincts. I just go. I just let a lot of times I'll do stuff and I'll realize that I did it after I did it. When I kicked, God rest his soul, when I kicked that kid in his head, the belt, my last belt, one of my last belts. Yeah, Jordan Parsons. When I kicked Jordan Parsons in the head, you can see on video that I was a little bit stunned by it. I didn't really know what I had done, and that's because I'm like a lot of times I just go. My body reacts, and I don't really know what I've done until it's over.
Right. Now Sunday, Jake Paul is boxing Tyron Woodley. Who do we think wins that fight?
I'm going with Woodley.
Why?
Pride. Bet on black. Wrestler. UFC champion. Going with Woodley. The money scares me. If the money wasn't so big, maybe somebody else, but the money's big, so that's what scares me because he's got silk sheets already. He's already a Hall of Famer, and you know what I'm saying, like, it's got to be a little bit of pride. So I'm thinking he gonna win on just this fucking YouTuber guy is not gonna beat me because I'm a champion, and that will do something to my legacy. But money is money, man. We don't give a fuck about legacy if we're gonna feed our grandchildren for the rest of their lives.
Your other training partner is fighting Anthony Taylor, is boxing Tyson Fury's brother.
Who?
Anthony Taylor.
Pretty boy Anthony?
Yeah.
He's on the card?
Yeah. He's fighting Tyson. He's boxing Tyson Fury's brother. He's Jake Paul's training partner.
Oh, okay.
Any how does that make you feel?
It made me feel
excited about it.
Yeah. That's the first I've heard. Two, it reminds me of Bellator Doodoo 5000 versus Timbo or whatever the guy's name was.
Now Taylor says he's been paid more to be Jake Paul's training partner than Bellator ever paid him.
I'm sure.
Is he being paid to be a training partner or a friend, though? Because it seems like Jake is buying a lot of friends all the time.
To be according to him, to be his sparring partner. He's getting paid more for sparring sessions with Jake Paul than he's ever made in Bellator. Now, did you guys watch the fight? Did you watch the UFC fights on Saturday? Kelvin Gaston?
I didn't. I'm focusing on my own fight.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. Well, listen, Bubba, I know you're busy. Good luck. Where can people support you? When can people watch you? Tell us.
You can support me by tuning in on ESPN2 on Friday and watching me beat the shell out of some. It's black boy versus the frat boy.
Weren't you a frat boy too?
What did you say?
Weren't you in a fraternity also? Weren't you a frat boy?
I was an honorary member of like 50 fraternities. Like they just wanted me to come around because I brought the party.
Oh God!
So all the frats. Anytime I show up to a frat, they're like, "You want to be a brother here?" And I'm like, "Fuck no." They're like, "Well, we'll just make you an honorary member, and you just come every now." And I'm like, "All right, I can do that."
All right. Last question. Gable Stevenson. How will he do in MMA if he goes to MMA?
He'll kill everyone. He has the right body type. He has the right mentality. He has the right ultimate craft as the wrestler. He learns how to hit, strike. He can be. I think honestly, he learns how to strike. He can be Daniel Cormier right now.
Right now.
Right now. You give Gable Stevenson 3 to 6 months of training. He beat Daniel Cormier right now.
Even though he doesn't have any jiu-jitsu right now, or
you give Gableson 3 to 6 months. He beats Daniel Cormier right now.
Wow.
You seen Cormier do some jiu-jitsu? What the fuck are you talking about?
But he's been doing it for 10 years.
Going out there doing jiu-jitsu?
I've been doing it for 15. I mean, I see rear naked choke. I mean, the basics, you know.
You talking about two wrestlers who, yeah. I mean, who don't know a rear naked choke? My 3-year-old knows how to rear naked choke the puppy. Stop it. Everybody knows how to rear naked choke. Ain't no jiu-jitsu. That's survival.
Got it. Got it. Well, listen, Bubba, thank you, and good luck on your fight on Friday.
All right, big dog. I appreciate the call. I'm glad I could do this for you, and I was going to cancel it, but I love me some MMA Roasted. Got love for my man Adam Hunter, and I knew that I'd probably get it done while still getting dressed, so I ain't gonna worry about it. We got love for the MMA Roasted podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bubba. Take care.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. All right, Brandon.
Good luck, buddy, for real. We're rooting for you, man.
Good luck.
That was Bubba
Good
Jenkins,
luck, brother.
national champion wrestler, fighting for $1 million. What do you think, McCorkle?
I'm happy for him, man. It's I don't know, when I met him, I think around UFC 199. I was out in LA and did your podcast. And what does he fight now? 145?
Yeah.
When I saw him, you or somebody sent me something, or I saw it online, he pulled up his shirt and had like a 12-pack. I had no idea. When I saw him, I thought he weighed like 200 pounds. I don't know what he was fighting for then, but he was kind of chubby then. I was shocked when I saw how in shape he was now, man. So was he getting a lot heavier than he is now?
Yeah, he gets up to like 180, 185, and gets down to.
Does he? Yeah, but he looks in shape, man. He looks. I hope he's not too drawn out, because he looks, even now, he looks really lean. You know, like in his face or whatever. And you're still several days out. But I was going to ask him. I forgot. I wanted to see what his opinion was on what his best fighting weight would be if he had to fight, say, John Jones or somebody. Like if you had to fight someone bigger than you, what would you feel the best at, weight-wise? Would it be 180? Because I always felt I was a far better fighter at 305 pounds than I was at 265. Like way better, because I didn't have to cut any weight. I could still lift weights and be strong. I just have a really heavy bones, I guess, or like a heavy body type. But it's that's what Matt Mcmahon always said. I would kick Matt's ass in training when I was 300 pounds. But when I got down to 265, I'm walking at 275, like week of the fight or whatever. Like I was terrible. If I tried to spar or do anything, I was just worthless.
You're also a great athlete, though. I mean, how many heavyweights can dunk a basketball?
Yeah, that's what I don't know, man. I was always I was a way better fighter, not just because I was fighting weaker competition, but I felt better, I performed better, I did everything better at 305 pounds than I did at 265. I didn't even walk in at 290, fight 265, but that was because I really ate a lot of pasta and rehydrated. But I mean, week of, I would be walking around 275, 280, and felt terrible, as if I was 30 pounds heavier. I'd have felt much better.
Don, are you still with us? Don, I think he's frozen. Well, that's the argument that I was going to make. Not argument, but I saw a conversation I wanted to have about you with Kelvin Gastelum, because I don't know if you watched the fights last week, but Kelvin Gastelum is like the people's champion. He's a guy he almost missed weight at 185. He came in like a quarter pound heavy, which is crazy because he fought at 170 and looked kind of chubby at 170. Mike Dolce said he could fight at 155. So he came in at 85 and against Jared Cannonier, who was a really good fighter, but Kelvin looked like a smaller guy that was fighting a bigger guy. Don has a gun on him right now. Don, why are you? He's dressed like a cop with a gun. Don, what the fuck is going on right now? This podcast?
Why can't I see him? That's what I want to know.
So
there we go.
Don Frye either shows me a leg with a huge hole in him. He has a back supporter like I've never seen. You see the back supporter he had on him? It was like this thick. It was like a walking cast. And now he's flashing a gun, but his sound's off. So I guess it's a silencer, I guess. It's also because it took away his sound. Don, why do you have a gun on you? Who's driving the car? Where are you going? Why are you dressed like an Army Ranger? There's all kinds of questions we have. I don't know if we're ever going to know because Don can't figure out how to put the sound on his phone. But where do you think Don's going right now, Sean?
I don't know. I thought he was going to go look for, what's his name, Master Robin and TA because he looks like Magnum P.I. I had a buddy one time that grew a mustache, and he didn't look like Don, but he had a mustache like Don's, and I used to call him Magnum CS. And he always wondered what the CS was for. I think it's pretty obvious. But, it's yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. You can only imagine what Don's doing. I wish I were there to be part of it, though, because I'm sure it's going to be entertaining regardless.
Don, where are you going and why do you have a gun?
I'm going down to the post office. So, I got to be armed when you ever go to the post office, just in case one of those guys go postal. They go nuts.
So you're driving to the post office and you have a gun on you. That's legal in Arizona, right?
Defend. Yeah, that's legal in Arizona.
Sean, do you carry a gun with you too everywhere you go to the post office?
Everywhere I go, but not on my body necessarily. Like I have one in my car all the time. I actually took my AR-15 and 2 pistols to Florida, and I thought I was going to get pulled over at some point, like I was flying on the interstate, coming back, and I started laughing, thinking you're supposed to tell a cop that you got a gun and get shot.
Yeah.
Especially since I lost my white privilege. But yeah, like I was sitting there thinking, since the whole world's going crazy, man, I take a gun, like a rifle, extra ammo, everything, because I never know when I'm going to get stranded in the middle of nowhere. Like with the world, how crazy it is, man. Things have gone nuts. And I was driving on the Mexican border one time with my girlfriend and got followed by 5 guys in the middle of nowhere in the desert, followed by 5 guys who looked like half Mexican, half Indian, unless that's an oxymoron. But they look like, Native American and Mexican, tattoos all over their face, like MS-13 guys that look like. And they were literally following us for 3 hours. And if we slowed down, they slowed down. If we started to pull over, there was no exits out there. It's in the middle of nowhere. And I had no gun, no anything. And I was like, I didn't know if I was going to have to fight him, offer him a job, what. I didn't know what we were going to do. But, yeah, I ended up getting away from it. I had no doubt they were trying to rob us, like for sure, trying to rob us.
I like how Don doesn't know how to use speaker on his phone, so we have to see his cauliflower ear when somebody else talks. He doesn't know how to use speakers, so we have to look at the inside of his ears while you're talking.
I noticed his sideburns look just like his mustache, too, so I can't tell what I'm looking at after.
Probably his girlfriend's beaver. So, what are we talking about? So, what do you think about Kelvin Gaston, though, Sean?
Man, I lost. The guys on the listeners love to hear it. I lost again because of Kelvin Gaston. It's like the 4th fight in a row. He's cost me a bunch of parlays. That dude, man, I don't know. I obviously shouldn't be the guy out there saying, hey, you need to get in shape. So how out of shape I am. But, man, if he could get to 170 and make it easy and really be in shape, like I don't know if he's considered liposuction, man. I mean, he's got bad genetics when it comes to, like, carrying fat or whatever. But if he could be the champ, if he can make 155, he'd murder almost every. I mean, he almost beat Adesanya, so I think he would kill anybody at 155. I can't imagine he wouldn't dominate at 170. That dude can fight, man. He just can't come in shape. I don't know.
Well, it's just harder to knock out those guys that are walking around at 220 pounds, 215.
Yeah.
I mean, his power is only going to carry you so far. And,
the thing that's crazy, too, they always said that Roy Nelson would need to lose weight, but I didn't know that Roy Nelson used his weight. When he was on the ground, he held guys down. His power a lot came from it. I don't know that Gaston really uses his weight necessarily to fight. So if he could actually find a way to get in shape and really – I mean, man, I don't know. I had no trouble losing. I lost 70 pounds in 7 weeks for my UFC debut because thinking about the horror of millions of people watching me get my ass kicked on TV because I was too tired to fight. And that made it easy for me to eat healthy, or the embarrassment of not making weight, like it, to me, that would be, I never miss weight, but I still have nightmares that I'm not going to make the weight in the UFC and that everyone's going to
Just 265. If you can't make 265. Yeah, that'd be something to laugh at.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I actually cut extra weight for my UFC debut because everybody on the underground was saying there's no way I could make it. I was, I couldn't lose 70 pounds in 7 weeks. So I actually cut a couple extra just so I could really stick it in their faces. So,
I'll tell you what, did you watch the Parker Porter fight versus Chase Sherman?
Yeah, I did see some. I saw the last, round and a half.
Chase Sherman's also a good fighter, but you got to have you got to have plan B. Sometimes it's obvious when plan A is not working that you got to have a plan B. And it seems like he didn't have a plan B. His plan, it was just, stay in the pocket.
Man, I'll tell you what, Chase is a buddy of mine, man. I've seen him fight at smaller shows. He's a really good guy, really nice guy. I don't know what happened to his kicks. I saw him fight locally. His kicks, man, it was like a horse. Like his leg kicks were brutal, and I haven't seen him doing it very much, not on the UFC level. I mean, he does it here and there, but on the local level, he was crippling guys, kicking them once or twice, leg over, just falling, he can kick. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's I was really rooting for him.
I thought got fucked was Clay Guida. I thought Clay Guida won round 1 and 2. That guy Michael Madsen's. That guy obviously is a great fighter, great Greco-Roman fighter, but it does seem like he is a good fighter where he knows how to box, he knows how to wrestle, probably knows how to do jiu-jitsu, but he can't seem to put them all together. It's kind of like Aaron Pico had that problem. He's only had 10 fights. He's still kind of young in the game. I know he's 37, but he's still young in the game. But it seemed like if he couldn't throw you, his strategy when he didn't know what to do. And I thought Clay won that fight. Did you, Don?
Yeah, I thought Clay won the fight too. Completely. And I think the other guy, what's his name?
Madsen.
Madsen. Yeah, he had a real good heartbreaking story, about his wife and his life and all that. But that's not supposed to win you the fights. The fighting is supposed to win you the fights.
Now,
I'll tell you the most impressive thing about Guida is he's only got 6 hairs on his head, but he just grows them 3 miles long and wraps them all around. Because the minute he gets sweaty, man, he has a bald spot bigger than my whole head. It's the most amazing thing ever. But at least his older brother doesn't suck real bad.
Yeah, I know you hate his brother. Now, Don,
that dude sucks, man.
Don, what would you tell Clay? What would you tell Kelvin Gastelum if you were his coach?
I'd tell him to lose some goddamn weight, He looks, he's got the conditioning. He's got the same problem as Josh Barnett. He's got good technical skills. He's got good strength, quality speed, but the body just ain't there. It doesn't look like he's an athlete. But he is. He's a great athlete. He's a great fighter, but he's just not putting it together. And I tell him you got lose weight to go down next weight class, or else turn that fat into muscle.
Right. How do you make a guy that doesn't want to lose weight? How do you?
I think if you're the UFC, you cut him and tell him if he wants to come back at 170 in shape, then that would probably motivate him. But he can fight. I got a great Josh Barnett story real quick if you want to hear it.
Sure.
So when I first fought in the UFC or whatever, of course my interviews were awesome and everybody's laughing. No one knew who I was before that. So, there's a lot of weirdos online who will call themselves like Conor McGregor, but it's not really him, they'll just like weirdos on Facebook. So there was a guy that had a Japanese emoji as his thing. His name was Josh Barnett, and he only had 200 friends. And so he hits me up after my fights like, dude, first off, you're hilarious. You crack me up, blah, blah, blah. He said, secondly, if you ever want to train with me, I can show you a lot of stuff and this and that. And, I'd love to get together when you come fight in Seattle or whatever. I was going to fight her out, west or whatever. And I was like, hey, man, I really appreciate my fan support. I was like, but, I like to train with my own team, no offense. I thought he's just some dude calling himself Josh Barnett because he only had 200 friends, no pictures of Josh Barnett on there. And so he got real offended, I guess. I told him, hey, I appreciate my fans. If you want an autograph, I'll send you one. And I know Josh Barnett's like, who the hell is this kid thinking I want his autograph, So months later, a year later, I'm at a club and my agent hits me up and says, hey, be careful, Josh Barnett's here tonight. And I was like, why would I be careful? And he goes, you know, he hates you, right? And I was like, Josh Barnett hates me? He goes, yeah. I said, why? He goes, I guess you blew him off the set. I said, dude, I've never even talked to Josh Barnett. And he's like, no, dude, he hates your guts. Like, and he told me if he sees you, he's punching you in the face and this and that or whatever. I had no idea why. So later on, like my agent said, I guess you turned him down training, and it clicked later on, like, you know, a month later. I was like, wait, was that Josh Barnett that actually hit me up a year ago? And I realized it was actually him. It was the funniest thing ever. He didn't believe me for months. Didn't believe me. I kept saying, dude, I swear it. Oh, you were all cocky because you beat Mark Hunt. You thought you were going to do this. And I said, dude, I swear I didn't know it was you. And it was, but yeah, he thought I was telling, hey, I'll send you an autograph, Josh. Like, here he is, an MMA legend, you know, like, I'll send you an autograph if you want one. I did win a fight in the UFC. So
that was one of my favorite. I did an interview with him and Mark Kerr, and it was one of my favorite podcasts. Josh Barnett told me back in the day, like you said, he couldn't get anybody to train with him. So he would find like the biggest guy he saw on MySpace and be like, hey, you want to spar tomorrow? And they would to the local Y, and they would just punch each other in the face. And he had fights in the weight room. Like, and kids would be having like swimming lessons downstairs, and they would look up and see two fucking behemoths like punching each other in the face in the fucking weight room.
I heard that's how Dominic Cruz got his start in MMA too. He was looking for real big guys online. He was like, hey, you want to roll around with me at the gym? And they were like, what? So, I don't know. I think it turned into –
is not gay. If he was, that would be fine. But I've seen him with some of the hottest women in the world.
Yeah, like Bruce Buffer. He's always with women too. But it's at a gay bar, but he's with a woman.
So I'll tell you a couple other things. That guy, Bahamondes, you see that spinning wheel kick at the end to knock out?
Golly, man, yeah. That was something else, man.
I mean, was that just perfect or what?
I literally never thought we'd get to a point where things like that landed in UFC fights, that Hollywood stuff, man. But guys, you know, Cain Velasquez almost landed 2 against Travis Brown back in the day, getting to be where the guys are getting real. I mean, that's amazing to me, man. I can't even throw a regular kick, let alone something like that, you know? So.
Don Frye never threw a kick before in his life and entered the K1 tournament against the champion. and took 19. You said you never threw a kick in your life, and then you fought Jerome Banner, right?
Yeah, real dumb move on my part, that's for sure.
and you took a handful of painkillers and went in there.
Yeah, I was flying high, boy. I was flying high before, during, and after the fight.
I had I probably should tell.
No, Don,
I'll tell you a good one on the same subject. So when I went and fought in Japan, I took a fight on 30 hours notice against Satoshi Ishii. Yeah. They shorted me 20 grand. They were supposed to pay me. They only paid me 15. It's supposed to be 35. But afterward, I got poked in the eye real bad. And I couldn't see, and they wouldn't take me. They just kept saying, oh, you go, doctor, you pay. And the guy was white. And I was like, why are you talking like that? No, but they suddenly they didn't speak English anymore. When I told them I need to go to the hospital, I said, no, I can't see it on my eye. And so they have some guy come and look. And he says the doctor, he comes and looks, goes, it's okay. Like that was like no light, no, you see my finger, nothing, you know? So afterward, somebody who looked just like Bob Sapp was there. And I said, dude, man, my eyes kill me. He goes, here, take a couple of these and hand me like a handful of pills, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was. And at the time, I'd never taken painkillers, so I didn't know. He goes, careful, those are 10s. And I also didn't know what that meant. Like 10s, you know, whatever. I was like, okay. So he meant 10 milligram oxycodone, I guess. So I take like 5 or 6 of them, having never taken pain pills before. I'm thinking it's like, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't think he would just have narcotics just in his pocket, you know, or whatever. So I just took whatever he gave me. And so an hour later, I find myself, you know who the Inoki guy is, the famous pro wrestler in Japan? He's a guy that did a wrestling match against Muhammad Ali or something. And apparently it's his promotion, and it was his birthday, and I was up giving a speech at his birthday in English to a bunch of Japanese people about how he had always been my hero, and like I, you know, always looked up to him ever since he beat Ali, and you know, he would have beat Hulk Hogan, and everybody, they would have loved the speech if they could have understood any of it. But apparently I was just supposed to stand up there with the rest of the fighters to honor him or whatever. But for whatever reason, 5 Percocet will do that to you. I go walking up, just grab the microphone and start talking about Inoki, making up lies that never happened. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's always been my hero and this and that. And eventually somebody just came and took the microphone from me and walked back, and then they just continued speaking Japanese. But yeah, that was embarrassing.
That's hilarious. Does anybody have a copy of that speech?
Dude, I hope not. It was bad. I just remember when I got into line about how I was watching the fight with Muhammad Ali and then realized it happened before I was born. I was like, I remember watching that fight thinking, man, I wish Ali would just be a man and wrestle with him and this and that. And I think it happened like in 73 or 8 or something. So like I'm saying all this, and it was just, I remember everyone was just staring at me with these blank stares. And then like afterward, the guy that was my translator said, you were just supposed to stand up there. We weren't doing like speeches. And I was like, oh, my bad.
Now, Don, don't you have a coach that says to you, hey, man, you've never done kickboxing before. You don't know how to throw a kick. We probably shouldn't fight the best guy in the world with this?
They pretty much, I had walked away, until I'd fought Takayama, and we both got beat up in that fight. He took my soul, fuck. And so I just sat out on the back porch, smoked cigars, and drank tequila, and when they offered me some money, and I said no, then they offered me more money, I said no, and then they offered me more money, I said I'd think about it, and then they offered me more money, I said okay, and then I was supposed to have fought Mark Hunt, so they swapped, fighters, which Frye did all the time, and they gave me more money, so I was like, hey, that's great, so I was celebrating before the fight,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, last week, Brian Kelleher, this guy's a tough guy. Everyone keeps sleeping on him, and he keeps wanting Sean O'Malley. Give him O'Malley. He's going to talk a lot of shit about O'Malley. It's a good fight for O'Malley, and if he could beat Kelleher, that's a legit opponent who's in his prime. So why not? And I give him that fight. But the William Knight fight, what about that guy who was backing up and knocked the guy out with a stiff? You watched that, Sean?
I didn't see that one. No, I didn't see it.
The guy, how Chuck Liddell used to knock people out while backing up? Like he was the only guy. This guy did it. It looked like he almost he didn't even turn his punch. Just straight, this huge black dude with 0% body fat against another guy that has 0%. It was crazy. It
doesn't matter what color he was, but
yeah, he's crazy. I think he's from New England too. The guy's a badass. And then Trevin Jones got choked out. Herb Dean was late again on the stoppage.
Yeah, way late. I think he was over there taking a nap on the other side of the cage.
Maybe he was just on black people time. Because I did find everybody's race now. So.
Oh God! All right, we're all right now in Bellator. Czech Congo won against Karatinov, but was getting his ass kicked. He looked like he didn't even want to be there. You watched that fight, Sean?
No, but I would have thought 100 times out of 100 that Karatinov would beat him. I couldn't believe. Czech Congo has a deal with Bellator. I don't know what it is. He doesn't have to fight in the tournaments. They just give him bum after bum, and he was on one point a 12-fight win streak against guys no one had ever heard of. And I offered Bellator that same deal with me, and they didn't do it. I told Bellator when I got left the UFC, I would fight for $5,000 a fight if they would fight me 5 times a year, and I wanted to pick my opponents. And I just wanted to go on a 15-fight winning streak, and they were having none of it. But they give the deal to Czech Congo. So
Congo won. I mean, he was getting his ass kicked to the point where he was turning away, almost looked like he didn't want to be there. And then all of a sudden, he just got a takedown and just beat the shit out of Karatinov. I mean, it was something a shit went off. And then Logan Storley, who was a 4-time All-American wrestler, he beat a guy, Dante Chiro. And there's a new thing now where guys win, but they don't win in the fashion they want to win, and then they apologize to the crowd. You would have swore this guy lost this fight. He just said, "I'm sorry, that's not me. I'll do better next time." And you're like, dude, you won. You're not gonna beat everybody. Knock everybody out. I even said to him, I said, listen, the guy you fought not to lose, and you fought to win. And a lot of times when that happens, you have a boring fight. You a guy kind of just wants to hang in there. And
have you ever apologized after one of your sets, Adam? If it was terrible, if you were told the crowd, by the way, I'm sorry I sucked tonight or whatever.
I don't apologize to the crowd. I mean, but I'll say it to my friends. I'll be like, man, that's what I'm saying. I'll say it to my buddy. I won't say it to everybody. Sorry, I'm off tonight, because a lot of people don't think you're off. And then now you're convincing them that you were off. So somebody who might have thought you did fine is now this guy sucks. No one's going to be like, you were great, even though he said he sucked. It takes a certain type of person to do that.
Plus, I guess if comedians start apologizing for the performances, Brendan Schaub's sets would all have to be cut way shorter because he'd have to plan that in for the aftermath of every set he does. So
I don't know. I mean, Don, did you ever apologize for your performance after a win?
No, fuck no. Why would you? You know, I tell them I planned it that way. You know.
I mean, even if you thought you could have done better, right? You still wouldn't apologize.
Fuck no. I'm happy to get the win, get the hell out of there.
Sean, you?
Yeah, no, man. It's the only time I ever apologized. I did say after a fight one time, sorry it didn't last longer because I beat the guy really fast. I said sorry to everybody that came out. It didn't last longer. And that's actually the third time I've said that this week, and nobody got it. So,
dude, the awkwardness of like you in interviews, like McCorkle, you're one of those people that like, dude, there's a comic that I know who's insane. This comic I know, Joel Lindley. This is his way of picking up girls. I don't even know if he wants me to tell this, but he would like, he got some hot chick that he knew to take pictures with him on Facebook, right? And they'd take all these pictures of him, and he would he like would then like go to a town and be like, start hitting on a girl, like, hey, I'm gonna be in your town, this whatever, you want to hang out later? Then he would hit the girl up from that girl and be like, hey, my boyfriend's gonna be in town this week. You're his type. We have an agreement where you could you could blow him, but just don't have sex with him. And then he said 9 out of 10 times he would fuck the girl, and they'd be like, hey, don't tell me or something.
just out of defiance.
Yeah, like, dude.
Nobody tells me what to do and start sucking a dick.
Yeah, then like he has a whole website. You know how people like people from Nigeria, they're like, hey, send me a picture. You won $10 million coming to you.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. So he would answer them back and be like, listen, I'll give you the money. Here's a picture of the check, but I need a picture of you holding your friend's penis, right? And then he had a whole website of people from Nigeria doing gay shit with each other, like holding each other's cocks, like 10 guys in a pyramid, like just naked, like jerking off. And he and he does it all for his own entertainment. Like, it's not like he's not gonna get paid for this. Like, he's just.
Bruce Buffer did the same thing, but he never got a website.
Right.
Never set up a website. He was just like, hey, it's just a joke.
So in the PFL, I'm just ignoring that. Bruce Buffer made a wedding video for me, man. Like, it's just so nice. So in the PFL, Kayla Harrison is just running through everybody. I mean, literally, she's never lost a round. I don't think she's ever lost 30 seconds of a round.
Hey, what was she? I knew she was an Olympian or something before, right? Wasn't she an Olympian wrestler or boxer or what?
2-time gold medalist in judo. And
judo? I thought she was a boxer. Okay.
Clarissa Shields is the boxer, 2-time gold medalist.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
And she trains with Amanda Nunes. After the fight, Cyborg hit her up. Cyborg said, we should do this. And she wrote back, sorry, but you can't beat me. I don't know. I mean, this girl, they may have to start putting 2 girls against her. Because it's not even competitive. She's going to win the $1 million again. She must be like a 20-1 favorite. The only girl that actually was would have been a challenge, it looks like, missed weight by 2 pounds. So she's out of the tournament. But it's weird, right? I mean, she's just running through fucking everybody, this girl. So I mean, it's not that weird because it's how many girls do you know are 145 pounds, just monster athletes? A lot of times, maybe she'd have more competition at 125 or 135, but she's just bigger. She's bigger.
Yeah.
And Don, you always said that you think judo is the most important martial art.
Judo and wrestling, yeah. I would say judo, wrestling, and Muay Thai. You combine those 3, you got a winning combination.
Well, this girl is proving you right. So PFL this week, obviously we got Brendan Launan is taking on Mavlid Kabalayev, who's 17-0. This guy Brendan's a really good fighter as well. And then we got Bubba Jenkins, Chris Wade. We got Shoeface, Antonio Carlos Jr. against Emiliano Sordai. Should be a really good fight. Chris Camozzi on the undercard. He's a guy who got screwed. He didn't make the playoffs, but he should have. He's fighting Corey Hendricks. Jason Knight is in the PFL now. Your boy, Hick Diaz. He's fighting Bobby Moffitt, who Bubba just beat, but it was a really good fight. So yeah, that's all going on. But PFL is so fucking weird. They have the playoffs, and then they have 5 fights of people who aren't in the playoffs. So you don't even know. So they're fighting to make the playoffs next year. Which
I guess they got to fill the card somehow. I want to know whose money they're losing, man, because there's no way they're paying what they're paying, signing the guys they're signing, doing all that stuff, and then don't have pay-per-view, don't have a firm TV deal. Like, I don't know, man.
And they're hiring guys like Wiz Khalifa, Mike Tyson. They have these spokesmen. Ray Lewis was a spokesman this year. I don't know I don't know what he even did. He just showed up to fight.
Mostly murderers and rapists then for their spokesman.
All right. And
They're talking about killing people,
But they got O.J. Simpson's going to be the spokesperson. OJ's doing something for them. So in Invicta this week, Danielle Taylor was 11-5. She was in the UFC. She was a pretty good fighter. She's kind of a point boxer, though. She's fighting Emily Ducat and Serena De Jesus, who has autism. And has been to a bunch of my shows and my fights. Really, really nice person. She's fighting Lauren Mueller, who's a smoke show hottie. So that should be. He's also a good fighter. In the UFC this week, Edson Barboza. We know who he is, right, Don Frye? I'm looking right at Don's zit, by the way. You have a great zit that I'm looking at on like your chin. Or maybe it's a bullet wound. I don't know. Maybe he shot himself during the podcast. He's fighting Giga Gigante, who is another murderer. This guy. These two, they did really good. They got two amazing kickboxers, Muay Thai guys in the main event. Who do we like at this one, Sean?
I haven't seen either of them fight, so I couldn't tell you, man. I don't know.
All right. Giga, I think Giga's going to win. Barboza's good, but I feel like he's a little bit past his prime.
I have seen Barboza fight. My bad. I thought thought you moved on from that fight. I got mesmerized by his looking for his zit. You were talking about on Don's chin and lost my train of thought. Like, all I see is a mustache.
And then it's he moved the phone. And then on the it's a two Ultimate Fighter finale fights. Kevin Lee is fighting Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod. You know who that guy is? He's a guy that has 1986 tattoo. He's like all tatted up. He's a fucking monster, this guy. He's 15-2. He's coming off a win over – he beat Preston Parsons. He beat Mike Perry. One of them was 30-26. He lost to Nicholas Dalby. He beat Dwight Grant. He knocked out beat Tim Means by standing guillotine. And he beat Gabe Green. So his only loss was against Nicholas Dalby. And he's fighting Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee is a guy who we know Kevin Lee. He's a guy that could beat anybody at any time. He's coming off a loss to Charles Oliveira. He beat Gregor Gillespie. He lost to Dos Anjos, lost to Ali Quinta. He knocked out.
You said it was on the Tough finale?
Yeah, the Tough finale.
I didn't even know they were still doing that show.
Yeah.
Did you say he's a guy who could beat any guy at any time, but he's coming off a loss?
Well, he's one of those dudes that has the potential to beat anybody at any time, but he a lot of times folds in the big ones. Like he's lost to the main guys, but he's one of those dudes that I don't know. Have you ever had a guy like that, like a Kevin Randleman type athlete, where in the right night could beat anybody? I wouldn't even compare Kevin Lee to Randleman. Randleman's a Hall.
Yeah, there's only one Kevin Randleman.
Yeah, Randleman's a Hall of Famer. But you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, we had guys too, man. There were always guys. Like I got a guy, Tristan Yunker beat Clay Guida before Guida was in UFC, and then he would lose to the worst fighter ever the next fight. Then he would beat John Halverson, another UFC dude, then lose to the worst fighter ever. You never knew which version was showing up. He was either UFC level or local club level. And it wasn't his trainer. They had just whatever he showed up with that night. You know what I mean? Some nights he was into it, some nights he wasn't. It's kind of like those guys. There's a lot of guys in gyms that can beat everybody up, but then they get in a fight and they can't, in front of the crowd, they can't do it. In a gym, they're awesome. And I think sometimes that has something to do with it too. They just mentally aren't there when it's time to fight. So,
Don, do you know a lot of guys like that?
Yeah, a lot of them. They're world national champions in the gym. When they get in front of people, they freeze. I'm the opposite. I can perform better in front of a crowd, but in the gym, I'll take a beating. It's just, to me, it's just you're there to learn and get better. So you've got to try new shit, and you try new stuff. You're gonna take some lumps.
Yeah. Also, Gerald Meershart is on the card. There's a guy who, like, he's a professional trumpet player or, like, tuba player. He's like a legit – yeah, in college he was in the band. And then he didn't start fighting until afterwards. And now he's 32-14. He won his last fight. He lost to Chimaev in 17 seconds. Lost to Ian Heinisch. He beat Darren Wynn. Lost to Eric Anders. Lost to Kevin Holland. Lost to Jack Hermanson. Beat Eric Spicely. Lost to Thiago Santos. He loses to, like, the top guys, but you would never know he was a fighter. Like, you think he was a band member. When he came to, like, my show, I was making fun of him being a nerd, blah, blah, blah. I just kept making fun of him. I go, what do you do? He's like, I'm in the UFC. I was like, what?
Did he have a trumpet with him at the time?
Yeah, he had a trumpet with him. But they're giving him a guy from Uzbekistan named Mahmoud Muradov, who's coming off a win over Andrew Sanchez, win over Trevor Smith, win over Alicio DeChinck. Certain guys, they just give the hardest fucking fights to. I don't know if these guys are just saying yes to anybody, because there's no way when they said, who do you want to fight next, he put Mahmoud Muradov on the list. But the UFC is just like, fuck it. You know, I love guys like that. I love when guys like that prove everybody wrong. That's my favorite. Like when Cub Swanson beat Chrome Gracie, and that was just, I was so happy about that. I hate when the UFC says you're gonna be the stepping stone, and they're like, nope, not yet. You know, Derek Brunson's kind of been that guy lately, where they just kept throwing guys at him that, like, we're gonna shine, and he's like, nope. Did they do that back in the day, Don? Did they give guys, like certain guys, just the hardest opponents?
Of course. Because they're trying to get their favorites, you know, into the finals.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would pad it. You know, I mean, shit. Look at the fights when Gracie was in it. You know, I mean, they were all over the hill, stand-up fighters who knew nothing about the groundwork. And,
yeah, I mean, one of them wore a boxing glove.
Right. And once
you know, it's weird. That guy, I was thinking if that guy's a trumpet player, if he wins the title, he'd be like one of the first guys to play an instrument professionally that would be UFC champ. But then I remembered Dominic Cruz plays the skin flute.
I knew that was coming. I should have told you that joke.
The second.
I know. I could see you trying to word it, and I could see the evil fucking smirk on your face, and then I see that you being proud of yourself when you write it. It's such
all at once. You saw all that at once, huh?
All of it. Sam Alvey is fighting again. Sam Alvey, who's 33-15. He has like 5 kids, this dude. 2 of them he adopted. He adopted 2 kids. And they're all staying like.
Yeah, he probably got tired.
he bought a ranch, and like I think his wife, who's like a model, she was like on America's Next Top Model. She's beautiful, redhead. I think she's watching all the kids, like 6 of them, or I don't know how many kids he has. He has a lot of kids. He's coming off a loss to Julian Marquez. He's lost 4. He's lost 6 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's on a 6-fight losing streak. Sam Alvey. So he's gotta win this fight.
Apparently, it's good to know he'll be fighting either way because he apparently doesn't know how to pull out.
Yeah. So Sam Alvey is fighting Wellington Turman, a guy named. I mean, I think you have to be a fighter if your name is Wellington, right?
That or a butler. What's going on there? Sure, ballet maybe.
He's lost 2 in a row. He's been knocked out twice in the first round. To Bruno Silva, Andrew Sanchez. So they're giving Sam a guy that he can knock out. Sam Alvey is one of those awkward guys that's so hard to look good against. Even guys that beat him, you could almost argue that he won the fight because he's just like slow, but it works for him. And then Darren Stewart, the dentist from England, is fighting Dustin Jacoby, who I think was like in Glory, amazing kickboxer, took like a
dentist from England.
Yeah, he's black.
I don't believe that one. I don't believe
he's a black dentist from England. And then JJ Aldrich is fighting Vanessa Demopoulos, who I believe is an exotic dancer. Her name is Little Monster.
Isn't it amazing how like all professional fighters, it's like the WWE in back in the day, they have to have a career on the side. So like you had like, I don't know, like the Big Boss Man was a cop or a security guard and a wrestler, and then like you had like IRS was an IRS agent, Erwin R. Shyster, but he also wrestled. It's kind of like, except for the WWE, it was a gimmick. In the UFC, it's called making a living. Like you have to still have a job besides fighting.
Yeah, well, she's been a stripper for 13 years. But she left stripper life in 2020 to become a pro fighter. I think that would be a funny gimmick. Like, imagine she knocks a girl out and like makes it rain on her or something, or like she chokes her out.
$1 million man puts a $100 bill in her mouth.
Or like she puts her to sleep and then gives her a lap dance. Afterwards, like she's in the girl's lying there just like, and then all of a sudden she starts grinding on her leg, or it's like steals her boyfriend. Don't you think that
Bruce Buffer has to sit there and pretend like he's turned on by it? He has to sit there and be like, yeah, I really like that.
Why did he have to come into this joke? I'm just saying, like I think the stripper could be I think that'd be a good gimmick, no? So
I guess.
Nobody likes my ideas. All right, and then Jamal Emmers. Jamal Pretty Boy Emmers is fighting. He lost to Jigga in a split decision. He's coming off of a win over Vince Cachero. Good fighter, really good fighter. He's fighting against Pat Sabatini. Now, I got to say, Don Frye, last week the fights were on ESPN Plus, and you still watched them. How did this happen?
Beats the hell out of me. I just didn't know that they were on that channel, or else I wouldn't have watched it.
Wait, so you had the channel the whole time?
No. I have TV. I go over to my friend's house and watch it at his house.
Oh, okay. All right. Can you go to your friend's house again on Saturday?
Why? What are you offering, sweetheart?
Well, it just seems like it's a lot more fun talking about fights when you've watched them.
Does make it more interesting, doesn't it?
Well, I could actually. I don't have to explain the fight to you, and then have you give the summary of my bad summary. So now it's like a third person. But when you've actually seen it, I could actually, I want to hear your expertise. You have.
Then again, Don, the fight Don recently went to, he didn't remember any of the fights, so that's what was odd. He went to a UFC and was like, "Yeah, I don't remember." Like,
It's true. Well, half the fights he was in, he doesn't remember. So I mean, he's actually in the fight. So that's true. Anyway,
are you supposed to remember them?
No, absolutely not. But we never actually. So last week your internet was so bad, we never got the Vader story. You were supposed to wrestle Vader. He was mad because you were going too hard on him. Is that what happened?
No, he didn't want to do the job, the way they wanted him to do the job. So he just laid down, he just took a shit in the ring there, and refused to dance. So I had no choice but to, I was forced to work hard. God, the guy's 400, 500 fucking pounds. If he's not gonna lift, give a little lift. You gotta go hard at it.
Now, was he mad because you weren't like a professional wrestler? You were an MMA fighter, and he thought you didn't deserve to be there, kind of thing?
I have no idea what his excuse was. He used to be the shit over there in Japan, and same thing for the States. And now now they're hiring to do jobs. So he just, some guys never get over that there's a change. The new people are coming in, old people are going out.
Dude, I've been watching those A&E biographies about wrestlers. Holy shit. First of all, Shawn Michaels partied like I've never seen. I mean, the amount of cocaine that guy did and partying and drinking and girls, but yet still would go in and wrestle every day like a fucking champion. Like, that's impressive just on that. Like, damn.
Yeah.
And then I watched the one on Bret Hart where Bret Hart knocked out Vince McMahon. You see that one, McCorkle?
Yeah, I didn't see that. I know that story from that movie that was about the WWE. It showed Vince with a black eye walking right after
he's like wobbling. Like, he doesn't know what. I mean, and Bret said he hit him as hard as he could. I mean, Bret Hart was a pretty damn good athlete.
Yeah, he was. He was a great wrestler.
Did you ever wrestle him, Don?
No, I wish, but no, I never did.
What did you hear about him?
What do you mean?
Like did the other wrestlers like him?
Well, of course some do, but others, I mean, it's like jealousy, you know, the pretty girl in school or a pretty cheerleader, you know, they hate her, you know, the girl just happens to have big tits, you know. Oh, she's a filthy slut. Oh, come on, man. It's not her fault. She's got double D's and you got nothing.
Yeah, well, but it seemed like Bret, like it seemed like the whole clique that was going on between Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and then Razor Ramon and Diesel, the Big Sexy. They like thought they were the shit, and they didn't include a lot of other wrestlers. And then they would kind of like had Vince's ear and this and that. And Bret didn't seem like he was a real clique kind of guy. So.
No. Oh, Bret's old school wrestling. You know, I mean, he's second, third generation, and he's old school. And, you know, you got to pay your dues. And, you know, instead of fucking buddying up with somebody to get promoted, you know, you work your ass off and you come up with a good gimmick. You know, that's where he's from.
Yeah, no, I got lots of respect. The fact that he knocked out Vince McMahon was like the funny. And he tells the camera guy, before that, he goes, "Hey, why don't you get out of here?" And then he goes, Vince goes, "I'll give you one shot." Like, that was a mistake. I mean,
Right.
Who says I'll give you one shot? Like, that's a
Normally it's people who've never been punched before. Like people all the time, like, oh, you can have the first one. Like, yeah, it only takes one to hit somebody.
The billionaire boss, that's who.
Yeah. And the Undertaker was in the locker room when it happened. He said he can't believe Bret got through everybody. But it's fucking, you know, when like you're that mad. Anyway, Don left. Sean, what do you have coming up?
I got another dog coming, a real expensive dog coming this Friday being delivered to me. So we'll, see how that goes. And then past that, mowing my 20 acres because the grass got out of control. We don't get any rain here, like, for weeks, but somehow my grass is still growing, like, at the fastest level I've ever seen grass. So, yeah, I'll be cutting grass for, like, the next probably 36 of the next 70 hours. So.
Wow. Now, are you reading any books on breeding, or how do you know how to make this work? Are you?
Oh, I've always raised dogs. I've had dogs my whole life. Yeah, like my dad raised dogs and bred them and all that. And I've had pit bulls my whole life. And those are is that funny? Because I just want a dog for my property, not for, you know, like as a guard dog or whatever. And then when I found out how much the lady was selling them for, when I called her, I was like, I thought it was a joke. I looked up, and apparently that breed, that style, they call American bullies, are just basically supersized pit bulls. The ones with really good lines go for that money. So I was like, well, I want to get a female to go with him anyway. And then, started doing that. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get started on another dog, get a male. And then I'm sure it'll end up well with several pit bulls, multiple males. No way they'll fight, right? So I've got my
now your girlfriend seems very sane. She seems like she's like she into any of this, or
she's got a Silken Windhound, which is the fanciest, gayest dog ever, but he's nice. Like he's like a greyhound. That's what they're basically, a greyhound with longer hair. So she's got one of those. That's a dog she always wanted. So it's interesting watching the gay dog with my male pit bull, because he like wants to play with him, and the male's in a bad mood all the time now. I think he's picking up my energy. Maybe his back hurts. But, yeah, no, he's in a bad mood all the time. And he, like, will grab toys and then not let anybody have it, like growl at him if they get near him with it. And then he's, like, protecting everything now. Like, it used to be just his food. Now he protects even, like, toys. Or if you throw a glove out there, like or anything, like a sock for him to play with, he sits on top of it, won't let anybody have it but him. So, yeah, it's he's something else. So, I don't know. I'm sure that'll go well when the other male's big enough to fight back. There probably won't be any conflict at all, so.
Well, it was a great show today, man. Love you as always. I'm going to be in Vancouver at the House of Comedy the first week of September, and then at the Minnesota House of Comedy third week of September. Thank you guys so much. Take care, brother.
See you, man.